I was just filming a video on advanced mattress stitch, and then I realized that I haven't actually filmed basic mattress stitch on my YouTube channel. I've written about it in my finishing book, Cool Knitters Finish in Style. I've filmed it on my DVDs, but I've never actually put it up on YouTube. So here we go. Mattress stitch is a revolution for joining the sides of pieces of knitting together. So this would normally be, say, at the side of a conventionally knit sweater. At the edge of a knitting, we always have one somewhat unhappy edge stitch. It doesn't have a stitch out on the other side of it, so both its poor little arms are pulled to the left or the right, depending on which edge we're looking at. Mid-row, a happy knit stitch looks like this. And it connects to the stitch next door, and it's connected to the one previously. So a row of happy knit stitches in the middle of your knitting look like this. In your knitting, we don't see where they're holding hands because those are the purl bumps at the back of the work, and the heads of the stitches get pushed to the back of the work. What we actually see are the little V shapes, which are the sides of the face of those happy little stitches. But at the end of the row, what happens to the poor old end stitch is this. And instead of being nicely balanced, he gets sent to join upstairs to the stitch above it. So these guys are happy because they've got friends on both sides. But these two are always somewhat perplexed because they didn't get balanced out in this direction. And they always look a little miserable. But the important point to notice is the rung that connects them to their neighbour. So every stitch has a rung connecting to its neighbour. So when we do mattress stitch, we look for that rung of the ladder. So there are our somewhat perplexed edge stitches. They don't have a normal shape. They're always a bit lopsided. And if we separate that from the previous column of stitches, you can see the rungs of the ladder. Take that right down as low as you can go. So if you want to join the sides of two pieces of knitting together, go one whole edge stitch away from the edge with right side facing you, and start with your tail of your yarn loose. Don't fast knit in yet. Then go to your other edge and identify the grumpy edge stitch and run your eye down the column right as low as you can go, and take your blunt darning needle under the rung of the ladder. Now come back over to the other side, go back in the hole you came from and under one rung of the ladder. So the needle goes vertically upwards. The needle direction never changes. Now we come back to where we came from and go under the next rung of the ladder. And back to the other side. Now when you've had little practice, you can pull this a little snugger as you go. So one rung. And don't be scared to just unroll that edge because it's shy and it tries to hide underneath the ugly stitch. So just unroll it and look for the single rung of the ladder. Don't split the plies. Now once you've done a little bit of this, you can snuggle this up and magically those less than attractive edge stitches hide inside. And you can continue your mattress stitch seam. I don't slip my edge stitches and make a chain selvage because it makes the rungs of the ladder less even to follow. they clump together, so it makes doing mattress stitch harder. Did you see how I almost got tempted by the edge of that stitch? So make sure you just go under the rung of the ladder. There are lots more tricks and tips to mattress stitch, but that's the basics, and doesn't that produce a wonderful invisible side seam?